All right, guys, let's make a quick one for you. I've been out here pretty much all morning getting things done. It is my day off, so I'm trying to utilize this time to myself. The kids are in school, things of that nature, so I'm trying to get as much done as possible. I feel like I'm about a week behind, guys. I was planning on doing most of this last weekend, including flying the birds, and I had so many things on my plate on Saturday, I couldn't get to any of it, and I don't want to risk flying the birds and then making adjustments afterwards. You guys may notice I did move over the settling cage. I got I got cardboard covering most of the window, and I like to make those changes while the birds are still in the aviaries. I want them to get settled with that, want them to get used to that, because if you make any change and let a bird out, it is reluctant to trap because of that change. So I wanted to get these things out of the way as soon as possible, so birds get used to that, used to the settling cage being moved over, used to the cardboard in the window. And then hopefully this coming Saturday will be the maiden voyage, let the birds out for the first time, things of that nature. So we'll cover that as well, guys. For the most part, like I said, I've been out here taking care of those things today, moving over the settling cage, getting things ready for the darkening system, moving second round youngsters over. I got another box from Jason, another 4 for him, from him this year to race in the big race. So I had those with the second rounders, and I probably have another dozen, 15 birds or so I got to move over here in the next coming week. So it's been pretty busy, guys. We got a lot of things going, so I figure a quick update. Might as well. I'm out here anyway. You guys notice I do have second rounders moved over. I moved 2 pair of droppers in this little chicken cage thing I got from my brother-in-law. I figure I'll put 2 pair in here, let those do their thing, maybe raise a couple of more droppers for the season. I don't need too many, so if I end up having too many, I'll give them out. But I don't want to crowd my birds at the moment. Once everything's settled and I have cocks moved into the cock section, hens into the hens loft, I'll split the droppers as well and use them as I need them. But for the most part, if they want to raise one round, I can always use an extra set of droppers on hand. So let's go ahead and take you guys in. Excuse the mess, guys. Like I said, I'm still figuring things out right now. I got some feed moved over, and unfortunately, I got the feed out here for the moment, and it's been okay. I'm trying to figure something out with that and make sure the birds aren't in the hallway. I know, right? Getting ready, just in case somebody gives me a hard time. I'm just joking, guys. All right, let me get the lights turned on. Everything is unfortunately extra dark because of the darkening system. All right, there we go. All right, let's get in here. Hopefully they don't make too much noise on us. They are hungry. They think that I'm in here to feed them. But I feed them at the same time every day, guys. I'm trying to get them on a routine. You'll be surprised how these birds will learn exactly when it is dinner time, and they will come down. They'll hover around the trap even when you're not there when they know it's dinner time. If you get them on a routine, if you feed them at the same time every day, and since I'm putting them on the dark, I plan on having the lights on at about 10 a.m. and the lights off at about 8 p.m. every day. So around 7 o'clock, I plan on feeding them, and I'm going to get them on that same routine. I'm going to try to feed them every day at 7 o'clock to get that in their heads, right? Come about 7 o'clock, I want them to stop flying and start thinking about, hey, it's dinner time. I need to start focusing on that. And when I come out and I start to whistle, I get more of a response from the birds. And again, you'll be surprised if you get them on a feeding schedule, on the same schedule every day. You'll be surprised. Come about 6:50, they'll all be hovering around the trap, waiting to get in. And then they'll see me. They'll see me make that walk from the house to the loft, and they start to fly towards me and then right back to the loft because they know it's lunchtime or dinner time for that matter. You guys can see they're cleaning up pretty nicely, guys. Some of them are still pretty heavy in the molt. Some are coming out of the molt. But for the most part, they still have a couple more weeks. Rich feeds, guys. Rich feeds, heavy protein. They need it for the molt to grow nice feathers. Again, I'm not molting flights. I'm just molting body right now. I'm trying to save the flights going into the racing season. And that's the purpose of the darkening system. So that's pretty much it, guys. Let's move right over. Let me lock these guys out because they will follow me down the hallway waiting for food. Looks like we have second rounders all in the aviary except for the one down here. This would be the first day in this section. I got 4 yesterday from Jason, and I moved over about 6-7 birds of my own into this section. Cleaned everything out, moved the droppers out of here, and moved the rest in here. So I moved them all into the aviary today, getting them used to that because once Once I start the darkening system, it'd be no more aviary time, and I'm gonna open the settling cage and have them go through the settling cage and have spend that time out there, maybe the next month or so. So again, just working with the birds. Hopefully I can get them on that same program, which I think within about a week I can get them there. Unfortunately, when you add more youngsters like I will be, it sets you back. So every youngster that you add, you have to sort of start from day one again, right? So I'll have to start feed training, trap training, and then being able to call them in when I need them to come in. Hopefully within that month period I'll be able to get them. Oh, so I got the weed blocker on the windows. I like using the weed blocker, guys, because it allows a little bit of air travel, or air movement, I mean to say. If you put your hand up, you can feel that light breeze, and you can feel how it's sort of compressed, or sort of tight, I guess I should say, because the wind is trying to get in. And I like that movement. It doesn't have to be pitch black when you darken. It just has to be dark enough that they feel that it's dusk, for, I guess, that matter, really. So I like using that because, again, it allows air movement. I don't like to block things off. You block things off, and then that just causes respiratory issues, in my opinion. Good ventilation is, I think, super important in the loft. Probably one of the most important things you can have, especially when you have a large number of birds. And a lot of guys like to forget, when you're breeding, you don't necessarily have 12 birds or 12 pair. You have double that, because each bull has 2 youngsters, so that's 2 more pairs of lungs that have to breathe the same amount of air, and guys will forget that. So when you have 12 pair, you don't have 24 birds. You have 48 birds the moment they all go down on babies. There's 48 lungs pulling for the same amount of airspace in this little space here. So don't forget that. Get as much volume of air movement as possible without causing a draft, if that makes sense. So in the past, I used to put the poly on the windows. I no longer do that. I do have mosquito netting on the window to cut down on the amount of flow, but I no longer block the windows. Even when it's negative degrees outside, I leave the windows wide open. The vents are open. I have vents across the back, and of course the vents across the front. So again, remember, when you're breeding, you're doubling the amount of birds in the loft. So in this space here, roughly 6 by 8, 12 birds or 12 pairs is a good number. When you're breeding, you've doubled that already. So remember that. Double the math. More air. But nonetheless, guys, let's move over. I'm not going to go over through all the youngsters. I just want to do a quick check on 42. 42 is the little youngster we saved a couple weeks ago. Let's see, is this 42 here? One-handed. Oh, come on, baby. He's lively, all right. Let's see. Bear with me. That's 43. So this is 42. Let's move him over. You guys can see him better. I mean, coming along real nice, guys. Nice. Very nice. Solid dropping. Very nice youngster. I think it was worth the save. But we'll see. We'll see at the end of the year where he's going to place or where he's going to be. And we'll see then if he's worth it or not. But I just couldn't bring myself to chalk him out. I mean, like I said, I found him. He had fallen behind where he is right now, just basically behind the bull. I had the bull pulled away from the wall a little bit too far. And when I got him, I was just about to throw him away, and I felt him in my hand. And I watched him just for a moment longer, and in that moment, I seemed to gasp for air. So at that point, I just couldn't. I couldn't bring myself to throw him away. I figured I'll give him a chance. I'll give him a couple hours in the incubator. If he makes it, he makes it. I've done that in the past. That's why I ran for the incubator so fast. I've done that in the past, and I was able to save a youngster we called Frostbite, and Frostbite was given to a local guy here, and he flew him, and he ended up being a pretty good flyer for him. He raced him for 2 years and ended up losing him on a 500 as an old bird. But again, he was still, more than capable of competing, even with that little bit of a hiccup at the beginning of life there. But nonetheless, guys, everybody's basically done breeding. You guys notice I have flipped bulls over. The only birds I'm leaving for a second round are choice birds. And I will be breeding another round out of Boy Blue, another round out of Gingerbread Man, and I think one more round, since I already have 2 eggs down there, off of 155. I think those are the only 3 I'm going to be going for a third round. Everybody else is pretty much done. Youngsters and all the bulls. If you guys had noticed, the biggest upset of the year, Gingerbread Man gave us a silver. Wasn't too happy about that. At first, I thought it was going to be another grizzle, and it ended up being a silver. That is actually my first silver I've bred out of him since I've owned him. He's only ever given me reds or red grizzles. So no big deal. I'm not a huge fan of silver, but that doesn't necessarily make him a bad bird. I just don't like silvers as much as I like a red. I think silvers is like the Walmart version of a good red, but that's that's just my opinion, guys. I'm not a huge fan of silvers. I much rather have a dark red than that. But for the most part, that's pretty much it, guys. I am going through my birds, and I am picking birds that I will no longer be moving forward with. You guys may notice there's nothing in here. We only had one youngster out of this pair. They gave us a second round of eggs. One egg was good, one egg was bad, and then even that second egg failed. Super bad nest jumpers. I think the hen is the problem more than anything in this nest here. She would probably do well in an individual pen. I don't breed that way. So unfortunately, she's got to go this year. I may choose to keep the cock back. We'll see. He's my only son off of Casanova, the only baby I have left off of Casanova. So I may move him over for one round or a couple rounds next year. We'll see how that works out. But I'm making cuts right now, guys. I'm making a lot of cuts because, again, if I didn't get what I want out the birds and I gave them everything, they should all be at the same level. We're talking third round already while everybody else is on a second round, if that makes sense, right? So this pair down here is perfection. That's exactly what I expected. Unfortunately, we didn't get that, and then that's fine. Every year is going to be different. And you guys may notice everybody, for the most part, has second round youngsters except for them. So those birds are on the chopping block. It is what it is, guys. We'll be moving forward. I like to have an empty box because I'm sure I'm going to have birds from the race team that I want to move over. So having an empty box is not the end of the world. Make those cuts even if you make them now. And let's say that youngster becomes a super pigeon. I'll move forward with that youngster instead of that pair. So it's no loss really. Again, you keep too many and it just causes trouble. Try to rotate. So every year you want to rotate about 20% of the birds. 2 pair out, 2 fresh pair in if that's what you want to do. Baby birds you've purchased, maybe birds off the race team. But constantly keep the loft young, guys. Keep the loft young. Don't focus too much on old birds unless they're super breeders and they've done well for you in the past. Keep the loft young like anything else. Birds older than 4 or 5, unless they've done something, they should already be out. I mean, that's just how it goes. But that's pretty much it, guys. Don't want to make the video too long. That's pretty much all we got today. Like I said, I'll be moving over second round youngsters here shortly, and then hopefully a video on Saturday, guys. Hopefully everything goes well. You know how it goes. Expect the worst and hope for the best. Hope for the best, expect the worst. We'll see you on the next one, guys.